So I actually grew up in Kitchener. So I think we have a lot more in common than maybe either of us thought.
No way. Yeah. Ontario.
Yeah, I did a tiny bit of research, I guess, going into this, and I was just listening to an interview you had done almost 5 years ago, I guess, but you were talking about growing up in Ontario and then you went to school at Waterloo, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
But did you, like, it wasn't Kitchener or Waterloo where you grew up, was it?
No, I grew up kind of between like a small town on the lake, a couple hours north of Toronto, and then in Toronto proper. And then yeah, I went to school in Waterloo.
I love like, whenever I hear anyone reference the, like, summer or cottage country or anything in Ontario, I think a lot of people understand, but some don't. But as someone who, like, gets it, I think it's such a good reference, and it's also kind of a phenomenon that unless you've, like, been a part of it, you might not understand it as well. But, like, what did your family have, a, or I guess was your main house kind of a, like, cottage almost?
Um yeah, it's like not quite like cottage country, I would call it. It's more like uh hick country at the moment, Like more like cornfields and no, there's Walmart kind of thing. But like Central Ontario, Cottage Country, Ontario is so beautiful in the summer. I feel like it's a real people sleep on it. I think it like gets overrun with all the like mega money coming from Toronto and going to Muskoka and stuff. But they're the reason like the most influential group of artists in the world came from Algonquin and stuff.
Yeah, yeah, of course. When I was growing up in it, and my grandparents and my uncle, like a lot of my extended family had, like, cottages, and I mean, borderline, I guess I would have to admit, I didn't even like going to the cottage. Like, when my parents said we were going to grandma and grandpa's cottage, that was, like, not good news for me. And then now that I'm grown up and more, well, quote, grown up, like, the more I'm into the idea of just looking at serene stuff and being quiet and hanging out alone or with a limited group of people, I think, like, I took that for granted when I was younger. Like, I hated that. Now it's gone. The property sold. Grandparents passed away. Like, what am I? I'm never gonna get back to it, and I regret not embracing it at the time. But it's so hard to. I mean, everyone when they were a kid doesn't like stuff that they like now.
Totally. I remember as a kid like being there and just being so freaking bored. Like you look around, there's like nowhere to skate, no one around unless you like get driven somewhere. But yeah, now as an adult, like we and with a baby, I'm like, wow, if you like locked the three of us up in a cabin for a week, I'd be so happy.
Yeah, I I also did, like, hear you reference growing up skateboarding, and I also, like, that was where I found out about skating and kind of got immersed in all that. And I remember it was a way different time, like, without, I mean, and it probably even in, like, New York and LA, skateboarding insanely different now than it was then. But what was your experience? Like, how did you do you remember how you found out about skateboarding back then in small town Ontario?
I feel like I knew this question was coming because like a 30-year-old dude being interviewed, I feel like definitely warrants like a intro to skateboarding question.
Yeah, especially on here.
But I don't know how I like learned about skateboarding, but It's definitely just like a thing in the neighborhood. And yeah, I think we just like really took to it. I had like a few friends. I was in art school at the time, so there was like, like the main squad and then like the art school kids. And I feel like it was just like around. It was just like what everyone was kind of doing. And then like as you get older, it's just like on a toy. Uh, like magazines and stuff were like such a huge part of like my interest in everything that I'm in now. So that was like such a huge draw. But my now brother-in-law like was is such a good skateboarder and was so into it at the time. And I remember he would just come over and we would skate all the time. I feel like that was my big like conduit into it and my big interest for sure.
Uh, I wish now there was more. If you ask kids these days what got them into it or what keeps them into it, maybe not everyone, but it's probably like the majority of people would answer like the internet, social media. It's refreshing to hear someone like kind of loved it and stayed in love with it because of a like family member or a close friend like keeping them into it.
Oh, 100%. I feel like the genesis of everything I'm into that came from like my older I have two older sisters and yeah, I feel like everything they were doing I just thought was so cool. And skateboarding was like kind of the big pull in there, like same with snowboarding, and they're like just things that I held on to now. They've kind of like maybe moved on, like normal people would. But yeah, I think I was just like so intrigued at the beginning and I just thought it was so cool. I looked after them so much that I just wanted to keep it going and it like grew into something else for me.
I think like anyone kind of growing out of it that was in it like heavily or was in a pivotal part of their life, I think everyone sort of makes that like joke or that reference, but it's impossible. Like I've actively kind of tried and no success at all. Like I don't know how hard you've tried, but it's impossible.
I feel like it's so funny you say that. Every few months I'm like, oh man, I gotta grow up. I gotta like change my wardrobe a little bit. I have to like pick something else to wear other than like a primary color crew neck sweatshirt. And I don't know. I can't outgrow it. Maybe for good. But yeah, it's like it seems like my interest, my taste, like everything is still kind of in the mix there, which is cool. I think like that's like the general. I think there's like a lot more going on in like boarding now than there was at the time. Obviously, like with the internet and everything being such a like a mixed bag, but I don't know. I think there's like much more being contributed to it, and I think that the like injection of like sport into fashion is like coming together in a good place in stuff like snowboarding and skateboarding as opposed to some other zones.
Yeah, like I almost the exact same thing as you. I think constantly, like maybe I should dress a bit more adult, like not wearing a tuxedo every day, but exactly not just wearing like sweatshirts and sneakers. And then recently, I kind of actually took the exact same thought and like flipped it on its head, and I thought it's kind of cool to be a borderline adult with interest in what might be childish things because a lot of even my friends who are way more grown up than me, they don't like take as much pleasure in these things as I would. Instead of seeing it as a negative, I started to see it as a positive, and it's kind of, I guess, not really changed much about how I act, but it's fun to think about it from the other side. I hadn't really until recently.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's like, it's always important to have like your things you're passionate about and you care about. I think like no matter how old you get, so having just spent some time with like our in-laws and stuff, like it's so nice to see them holding on to these things that they really like care about and they're not just like subject to their conditions and changing health and stuff. Like it is beautiful. It's so nice. It's like so refreshing to see that, you can do things in life. Life just doesn't just do things to you.
Yeah, yeah, of course it's rare, at least for me to feel that way, but I like the odd opportunity to feel that way.
Mhm.
You mentioned before, like you were in art school, kind of when skateboarding became a huge thing for you. So one of the questions I had actually was which of these things came first for you? I'm sure this is maybe a dumb question, but I like to kind of pose dumb questions to get smart answers. But were you skating? Were you graphic designing, or were you into all the environmental stuff first? And what order, I guess, did you do them, if that makes sense?
The That's a good question. I think skating and snowboarding was like kind of the first like the thing that like tied it all together maybe for me. Like I think that like as a kid or whatever, you doodle, you'd have like an art class or something. But I think once I got skating and got magazines and like watched videos and stuff and like watched how like art could be applied like that, it was like a pretty big unlock for me at the time, whether I realized it or not. And then I think that was kind of like what carried me through, which was also kind of like what spun me when I was in art school or decided to leave art school, because you're like, what your image of art then is like a thrasher spread, which isn't what they teach you in art school. Um,
Yeah, I heard you say you went to art school for one day.
I did, yeah, famously.
Yeah, that very famously. That's awesome. Yeah, some people I think go for a bit and then decide it's not for them. It's like a skill in itself to be that decisive. I assume you were on the fence before. Like you thought, I'll go and see what it's like, or did you was the first day like you were set on being an art student and by the end of the day, no more?
I think I really wanted to go. And like I got into OCAD too, which is like, difficult to get into. The whole process is long and hard and was like, like a 15-year-old kid. It's like takes a lot of effort. And kind of the summer before, I was like, I think I was pretty psyched on it. I don't think I think truly like the moment that I walked in, I was like, oh, this is gross. Was like, I don't know. I maybe it was like a weird time between like I was in like a fine art program and like graphic design as you'd see it now, like as a software kind of based learning thing is like was still quite new. So I just don't think I saw like what I wanted to do with it coming to life in any way. Like throughout those months leading up, you like go to the school, you check it out, you learn things, and I didn't find it like as gripping as I thought I would. In fact, I found it like really like, oh, this is like really watering down what I wanted to do and what I like. It's so different than what I wanted to do, and maybe it's going to change and like lose this thing that I love to do. Like maybe I can always like make skateboard graphics and t-shirts and stuff, and maybe I don't have to go to art school to do it.
Yeah, I could not relate to that anymore. Like I also went to an art school, also didn't finish. Wasted more than one day, but barely. I thought the exact same thing. I went and saw it. I thought this is incredible. In my head, I was like, this is gonna be so cool. I'm just gonna meet like-minded people and like trade zines with everyone and do all this artsy stuff. And then I got there and everyone in my class, like I remember we did one of those like icebreaker things where everyone kind of outlines like their objective for being there, and almost every single person was just trying to design like a new corporate logo. Like for there was people in the class who actually said like we want to rebrand Telus and all this like really boring stuff that like I like obviously it takes talent to make any logo, but these people were talking about like making like an uppercase T or something. Like it would have been like the most basic design. They just wanted a paycheck, and this is how they saw it happening. I've like never really felt more defeated. Like thinking I was gonna be in like the art school that they show in movies, and then it was not in any way like that.
Totally. I think that's like, what that's like the whole graphic design problem to me in a nutshell. But I totally agree. Like I think that I just watched that I don't know if it's new, but there's a BBC Bauhaus documentary that's pretty good. Uh but they're like, they have all these clips of all like Germany in the 1900s, like all these freaky art school kids going to cults and dancing and stuff. I'm like, does this happen? Is this a real thing? Like, there's no way this is truly what art school is like. Like, I'm picturing like, Schomburg Oxfords and stuff. That's not lining up.
And you would think OCAD, I mean, if it was gonna happen somewhere, it would probably be there. Like the art school I went to, sort of understand why that wouldn't be the case, but like I feel it's more promise to an OCAD student than it would be where I'm at.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure I'm like pretty out of pocket here. I like, I'm sure there's like some great minds and like lots of creative stuff going on and lots of really cool people doing cool things. I think at the time, for me, I didn't give it the chance to see it. And like in hindsight, I would have gone back. If someone like, could make me that same age again, I'd definitely go back in a heartbeat. I think I was like being naive at the time, but
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I never really thought about it, but I might answer that the same way. Maybe I might go back. Maybe it was like, being an adult and showing a bit of humility. It might have been me being kind of a stubborn younger adult as well. Maybe if I could do it again, it would be a bit different.
for sure, for sure.
Do you remember like what was the first design work that you were paid for? Like when did you see that being a designer is like a feasible thing?
Uh, yeah, like in like high school, I was like doing stuff for like friends' bands and stuff, and like painting people's like skateboards and stuff, like kid shit. But that would have been like the first time I was like, oh yeah, like I could do this for my life. And I remember like always coming home to my parents being like, okay, guys, I'm gonna keep doing this. I'm gonna make skateboards, like I'm gonna make t-shirts. They're like, no, no, Zach, you gotta go. You gotta get a job. You gotta do something real. And that I think that was like, the tension that maybe took me out of art school or whatever. But yeah, I feel like I was pretty locked in for like from an early age. And then I think like when it got more serious would have just kind of been like truthful, like doing the same thing, but just on a different caliber, which is pretty funny. Like my job now as like, a 30-year-old guy trying to feed his family is still making t-shirts.
Which is, I mean, I've made a couple of t-shirts in my day. It's a humble, a noble life. I think it's like yeah, I'm thinking too back then, like even now making t-shirts and stuff, parents might not love to hear that, but back then there was not much precedent for how that could like be a lucrative thing. So I would assume most parents would be even more terrified to hear that's what their kid wanted to do.
Yeah, I could imagine it's like, the last thing that your parents want to do. Like, I don't know what my baby now is gonna say in like, 10, 15 years of what he wants to do, but I can only imagine it's gonna be some shit I'm gonna kiss my teeth at. Like,
Oh my god, that actually an insane thought. I wonder what kids are gonna be doing in 15 years.
Man, I always think it's crazy. Like we live in a neighborhood where like our alleyways all like young families and stuff, and we always joke like all the dads are skating and stuff, and it's like it's pretty funny like the way that our parents would like make us like play baseball or like organize sports. Like it'd be crazy if you had like cool parents who like took you mountain biking. Like it like roles have totally switched, you know? Like, there's gonna be someone else like I had a normal dad who played hockey and kids are gonna like think that's crazy.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like, I mean, the things my parents did then seem normal to me, but it's not even. All of my friends that are parents are kind of more on the side of like skating, art stuff, bands, graphic design. To be honest, like less of any of the traditional stuff that my parents did or what they not forced, but what they showed me when I was younger. I assume much different than when I eventually have kids, what I'll show them.
Yeah, for sure.
I wanted to ask, like you're referencing kind of what your kid will be doing or what you're showing your kid. What, if you don't mind me asking, what's your um outdoor activity? Like if you want to go outside and be in nature, what is it that you're doing? Like what's your, you mentioned snowboarding, but are there other outdoor sports?
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm like running a lot. Been running for a while. That's probably like my go-to. I think my just kind of like have a history of snowboarding. It's like I've been a big thing in like my lives for a long time, but it's not quite as easy, you know. But yeah, I'll be going for a run like every day I can, you know.
Are you like road running or trail running?
I'll take the trails if I can get them. Between work and a baby, it's a little tricky, but
Yeah.
yeah, anything to get the beans out and stretch the legs for a little bit.
What do you think? Like, if you had to guess, what? Again, not forcing anything, but what would you like your kid to be doing outdoors?
Oh man, he that's a great question. He can do whatever he wants. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, no, yeah. I mean, that's how I feel too. I always say, like, when I do have a kid, there's nothing I would really like. You don't want to like even steer them in a direction, but it's just like earlier you referenced cool parents showing your kids like mountain biking. Do you think you'll be a cool parent showing your kid mountain biking?
I hope so. I'm like, yeah, I hope so. I'm probably more like risk averse than I should be, you know. So that kind of scares me, but
Yeah, mountain biking is actually kind of terrifying. Like there are a few people, no one close to me, but there are like a few people in Edmonton that have like lost their lives mountain biking.
oh yeah, it gets gnarly quick.
Yeah, it seems actually the more I think about it, maybe don't have your kid mountain biking. That's dangerous.
We live in like quite a mountain biking mecca, and the hospital nearby. It's like there's like literally a bike rack outside. It's crazy. It's like I don't even know how to like illustrate how many injuries happen, but it's a lot. And like I've mountain biked for a long time, and I don't know. I think the older I get, the more scared of it I get, and the more I want to duck away. But yeah,
Were you when you made the move from Ontario to Van? Were you running at that point, or is it more recent for you?
yeah, I was running a lot at that point. Uh, I actually stopped for a little bit and picked up my bike again. I've kind of flip-flopped between like running and bikes for a long time.
And is it like do you just go back and forth based on i- like injury and recovery, or like what's the catalyst for the back and forth?
I like grew up racing mountain bikes, cross country. So I saw like kind of thought it was fine, and then I got old enough I could like make my own decisions. So I didn't, but I kind of still had that like, wanted to race kind of bug in me. And
Would that did that predate skateboarding?
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. It like came from my parents. They're like both really serious cyclists, and I don't know if I even had the choice. They're just like, this is your thing. And yeah, I was like racing mountain bikes when I was like 10 or 12, like pretty little for a long time.
So you had cool parents that showed you mountain biking.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. My parents, very cool. Very cool. Very turbo. Very cool.
Yeah, I thought when you said that that was kind of aspirational. I didn't know. See, when I was young, I my parents are cool, but they didn't show me any of that, and I kind of wish I had friends whose parents might have, and that was always kind of a hope of mine. It's cool that you had them, like you were lucky enough to be shown that.
Oh yeah, big time lucky. Yeah, my parents are very cool. I like hope that I could be half as cool as they are one day and like, you know, bring our kid up the way they brought us up. They're wild people.
Were they runners as well?
I should fact check this before I like really spread the word, but I'm pretty sure my mom uh like medaled in a triathlon while she was pregnant with me, which probably explains a lot, but
Yeah, I mean, fact check that, but then that's an incredible origin story. Like you were there in your in the womb.
just getting jostled around for kilometers and kilometers. Yeah, pretty funny.
That would explain a lot. I wonder actually how many runner friends of mine would even have that like claim to fame. It's probably. I wonder if you could even do that now. Would they advise like women during pregnancy to run?
You know what? I always joke about that because like all the trail races have like um like an open gender category, a male category, and a women category, a female category, sorry. And then like they always add like a kids or whatever. And then, like you could get crazy with this one. You could do like people have to wear two left shoes. Like you could like put some pretty hilarious things into these races, but pregnant would be amazing. I'd watch that for sure.
I was gonna say that would be like a documentary on YouTube or maybe Vimeo even. That makes sense.
Like a pregnant 50 mile. I mean, there's no way that would be good for mom or the baby, but like
No, but most things that go viral are not good for the people in them. So
the drama, that would be incredible.
yeah. When you were biking before skateboarding, did skateboarding was that a hindrance at all, or were you able to do both? Or I'm just thinking like when I was young, when I found out about skateboarding, every other thing in my life, like I had no interest in anything except skateboarding. So did that like take over biking?
Uh, probably a little bit. I don't really remember it so much that way. I think I was just like young and just like had wanted to do it all, you know? Like I remember we were on like a team, and I think that like a few of the kids skated and we would just like bring our skateboards on trips and stuff. But yeah, I'm sure there must have been like a junction where I was like, okay, I'm over this. And I don't really have like a competitive bone in my body. So I'm sure that like, the skateboarding was like a pretty nice reprieve from that.
That incredible discipline because most of my friends or people I've talked to, same thing when they were that age and they found out about skateboarding, it just immediately took precedent over like literally everything else they knew about. So for you to like juggle both and be like prolific at both, I assume is pretty rare. Not a lot of people could do that. I never could do that.
I mean, might be like an ADHD thing, which isn't so good, but yeah, I think your output on it's a little better. I like that.
That's good though. I wish I might have a bit of ADHD as well. I still would never be able to split focus. I guess mine would just require intense focus, but only on one thing.
I mean, I'm not an expert, but I think lately I've been thinking that I'm definitely got a few too many brain cells doing a few too many things at the same time, you know.
Okay, let's see. I have another question that may be random, but I'm so curious. What can you tell me a bit about your like, as we're talking about precise focus, what's with your focus on salmon and whales?
Uh that yeah, that was like an old Obamacare campaign.
So it's not like a lifelong obsession with salmon and whales.
I think I'd be faking it if I said it was lifelong, but I mean, I do love them all.
Yeah, I thought I knew it was for the hats in the campaign, but I thought it might like go beyond that. Like it's something you were into as a kid until now. I mean,
I wish I could claim like that, but I don't have that kind of grounds, unfortunately.
do you have like what's your favorite outdoor species? Do you have one? Weirdest question I think I've ever asked on here, but I might as well.
Well, I love that one. Favorite animal? Mm, my son's pretty into salamanders, which has been pretty interesting lately. They're pretty hilarious.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Freaky little things. Yeah, they're like I like that they got like, you know, a head and a tail that looks the same. You can chop that thing off.
Yeah. No, that's actually quite a cool animal for you said 1 year old?
Yeah.
So what I mean, I could only imagine what it's like to have any child but a 1 year old that's a very pivotal age. I guess any young ages. But what like if you're not kind of leading him in any direction or trying to like force anything, what do you guys do outside together? Like does he even have any interest beyond salamanders right now?
Uh, I mean, I think he's like at the phase where he's like interested in everything all the time. It's winter here now, so it's like pretty rainy most of the time, which probably hence the salamanders because we'll like go out to the trail a lot and stuff, but he'll do anything all the time. He'll love ripping the stroller, going for a walk. Uh, any toy car. I just got a new car and he'll sit in the car for an hour just like dancing. He's electric, man. He's like, yeah, he's into everything.
Very cool. Like I wish I wish I took as much joy sitting in a car for an hour, like just vibing out. If I like that might save the world if everyone did more of that.
It's like it's so funny. He'll like I found this like a dub Christmas kind of like mix on on SoundCloud and he'll like I'll put it on and he'll seriously just sit on my lap in the car like bobbing his head for 45 minutes.
Yeah, I was actually that's so funny you would say that. I was gonna ask if there's any like music or any sounds that really get him like in the groove.
He's pretty digging to dub at the moment. He knows where speakers are every morning. He'll like go and smack it. He loves music. He likes he's like in a big likes everything phase. Nothing he's not into.
See, that's another like I feel if adults just were more open minded and liked everything and said yes to everything, that might help heal a bit of what's going on as well.
Most definitely. Most definitely. I think people are so close-minded. It's like easy because your time's limited. You know, you can only spend so much time doing so many things, but it's child is good for that, you know. We see things with fresh eyes all the time. It's really eye-opening, for lack of a better word.
Have you taken him to the aquarium yet?
I think we're actually gonna go today.
Uh,
I think today was the first tee.
that's incredible. Yeah, I another very weird question to ask on here, but my girlfriend and I went to the Vancouver Aquarium once, like years ago, probably pre-COVID, and I still think about it all the time. And I'm maybe not full grown adult, but I am technically an adult, and I loved it. I could only imagine what like a 1 year old, especially a salamander fan, would think of all the stuff there.
Yeah, I can't even fathom it yet. I'll send you a picture of his face when sees something like the octopus. He'll like,
Yeah, yeah, exactly. All those like I don't even know what they are, like jellyfish or the ones like that. Or in that like fluorescent blue tank. That was my favorite.
yeah, that's like the image I'm picturing too. It must be jellyfish. I've actually never been before. I'm just as psyched as he is.
Uh well then yeah, you're both gonna have a good time. I wonder who will actually be more entranced by all of that.
It's usually me, honestly. I'm usually like, oh, you gotta check this out and stay. He's like halfway across the room.
That's another thing I'm looking quite forward to if I'm ever able to be a dad. I just want to do cool things that I also want to do under the pretense of like, oh, you gotta take your kid to the aquarium. But I also want to be at the aquarium, like maybe more than they do.
Oh yeah, all like the boring stuff gets like, you know, it gets fun again when you have a baby. Like going to the grocery store is fun.
What does he think about all the rain? Like it being the winter there, I guess there's rain all the time.
I don't know if I don't even know if he cares. Like, I don't think he cares at all. I don't think it phases him. We just put on his little like he's got the suit. He wants to go out in the rain more than we do. And he'll bop around, you know. He's not made of sugar, he won't melt, and he loves it. And he's just like,
Yeah, another good trait. Like if you could actually enjoy or at least be indifferent to the rain, like I kind of hate the rain. And if you think of it, there's no real reason to. I guess yeah, you're an outdoor enthusiast in Vancouver. You must not mind it either.
yeah, I kind of love it. I love I mean, this time of year, it's just a little, I don't know. I get a little bit like romantic about all the weather, whenever it is, maybe. But yeah, I like the rain.
Like so much different what you grew up into. I guess this is extreme backtracking. I forgot to put this in before, but when in the trajectory of all this did you become like when did you realize you liked the outdoors? Because Ontario has much different outdoor. I know you in this interview I'm referencing you talked about like when you were in high school was one of your first like environmental activism type things, right? Is that about when you got interested in like doing things outside?
Uh, I don't know. Maybe. Yeah, probably. Well, I think that like, you know, all the things kind of just came together as like an outdoor sort of thing. I think like my uh I don't know. I'm always like I wonder what it is that like set me into like, you know, like a career of like working in the outdoors and like where the interest came from that. But I feel like there was just like such a cool moment in time when like, you know, maybe I don't need to like shout out any brands or anything, but like the whole like, you know, skateboarding and the outdoor kind of stuff like came together at the same time. And I just like felt like that was like such a pivotal moment for me to like when I connected the dots in my brain. And I think that that was like really what spun me into like oh, that's just like me now, like that's my identity.
Were you I guess this paints more of a picture. Growing up, were you into like maybe not fashion, but like were you into clothes and outfits and all that stuff, and then just later it all kind of worked itself out, or did you grow up like not really noticing all that stuff until it all kind of came together?
Oh yeah, I was big into it for sure. Like I don't even know. I was like talking about my sisters earlier. They used to like always dress me up, which is like pretty funny. But I think I always liked it. And that's like little kid shit. But I remember like it, probably honestly comes back to skating. Like I just like the style of it and like the way that people would like express themselves with their clothes. I think like just kind of stuck with me and stayed with me. And then yeah, just like the whole streetwear thing kind of happened at the same like, that same pivotal kind of stretch for me. Like, yeah, I think I've just always had an interest in it that like doesn't really go away.
Yeah, like I was saying, when you if you're in it, even like to a certain extent, I think it's hard to escape. So
Yeah, I think I'm more like right now I'm like working on apparel. I've been for a few years, but like as my sole focus at work, and I'm more interested than ever,
I love that. It sounds like you kind of started to form this interest in graphic design with the intent to make some clothing graphics, skate graphics, and now, like fast forward to now, you are kind of making clothing graphics. So it must like a lot of people don't really achieve what they sorry, they don't achieve what they set out to do, and it sounds like you for the most part have. That's very, very commendable.
Thanks. I hope that people strive for more for themselves, but yeah, I guess like in a way that did happen for me for sure. And I love that. Like it's funny, but yeah, I love I love it. I don't know. I don't think that's going to change, and I don't think it ever has changed for me before. And like, yeah, I'm so grateful for it. But I, I really love it.
What about did the dream of skater graphics ever come true? Like, have you designed a board that was like printed in a warehouse, like not you individually?
No, no, skateboard got away from me. I don't know how. That's a crazy one, but I think it got to a point where I was like, okay, if it's gonna happen, it's got to happen the right way. And it's yeah, skateboard hasn't happened. Snowboard's happened.
Oh, okay. I mean, almost. I don't want to pit anyone against each other, but I feel that's a bigger one because I've even made nowhere fast skateboards before. That's easy if you have the money, and like anyone could make it. It doesn't mean it's good or bad, but anyone could. I don't know if I've talked to anyone who's had a snowboard graphic been brought to life.
Oh yeah, it's more fun, more real estate.
Yeah, for way more and way longer lasting. Yeah,
Yeah, the print is pretty cool. Like how they piece them all together is pretty cool. But
did you like go on? Did you see exactly how it was done, or did you just like submit a graphic and do it all like over email?
yeah, I was just like it was like a freelance client at one point. I never got to go to the factory or anything. I'd love to go one day.
Yeah, I mean, now that we're talking about it, I've never. I don't think I've even seen a video of how that's done.
It's pretty crazy that they print, um, like a top sheet and a bottom sheet, and they kind of get laminated, and the wood core is pressed together, the sidewall punched in. It all kind of gets pushed in this like big sock, and then a big heat mold comes down. And they're pretty wild.
How did this project come about for you?
The snowboard.
Yeah.
It was just a client of mine. a few years ago. I don't even think that the deliverable was a snowboard graphic. I think it was sort of like a B-roll item that they ended up putting on a board. Uh, um, yeah, it was like maybe it was in a lot in 2023, 2024, I think.
Oh, so like recently, like someone recently.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, well, snowboards, apparel too, for the most part, like at a global scale, is like everything is on a, like 16 to 24 month calendar. So you get like a pretty serious delay and then COVID. So suddenly you're like kind of looking at like 20, if you made something in like 2018, I think this one came about, and then for it to come to market, a lot of things got to happen.
Yeah, I always forget like any time I've made insignificant, like a hat or a hoodie. And I only do a few. I can make them and have them in hand pretty fast. And then I talk to people who are involved in real industries and work for real companies, and I always forget there's like such a delay and stuff. And then it's always like super impressive that companies like kind of predict colors and styles and everything that are relevant when they come out, but it's like they started working on this years ago. Like it's hard for me to even pinpoint a current color when I'm making it like 3 months ahead of time. It's a skill I wish I had to be able to predict like so far in advance.
Well, I mean, yeah, at work actually, like I work on a color team, and the color, the work that goes into color in apparel is like totally mind blowing, let alone like on technical garments. But it's like much more than anyone could reasonably ever assume. But there's like real businesses built on color forecasting alone, and everything gets prepared into like certain recipes, and yeah, there's a lot of work that goes into it.
So you're privy, like you have intel on what colors might be cool in a couple of years. I don't wanna spoil anything coming up, but let's say something now. Like, did you know about that red was gonna be cool like 2 or 3 years ago?
I mean, I guess so. I don't think, yeah, I guess so. Yeah, we were working with Red a few years ago. I don't, I'm not claiming like I know the future. I'm like calling trends or anything, but yeah, I guess like we are working, 2 years in the future.
Yeah, I'm obsessed with this. Like I heard someone kind of predict red a couple of years ago, and red was always kind of a no go for me. Like it was something I just didn't really have any interest in. Like maybe when I was younger, but as an adult, I thought I'm never gonna like do the red. And then the more I saw it, the more I was thinking like this person was very red. And then just recently, there's so much red out there. I was talking to a friend of mine the other day who I think is my like coolest, my oldest friend, but the coolest person I know. Like they've only ever done cool stuff. Like no, they've never fumbled anything as far as I know. And they were really into red, and they were saying the same thing. Like even if you asked them like a year or two ago, they would have never thought red, and now it's their main color. They've been like getting so many outfits, and then I wonder how many companies knew about this, or like if this trend forecast or whatever knew something everyone else knew, and I was just the only one who didn't know about it.
Oh yeah, I mean there's like I feel like in a like when you look at like one industry, like say outdoor, like you look at one color for a calendar year, like it's very apparent. I think everyone's gonna like go in the same direction. And there are like real trend forecasters. There's like one big one that like most brands will work with, to varying degrees, like they'll listen to them or not. But yeah, it's pretty crazy like how how much of a shift they create or cause.
I always wonder though, like, does this trend forecaster, do they actually know, or are they big enough that whatever they say is what's happening? So really, they could say anything, and enough people listen that that becomes a thing. But if they never interjected and said that, I wonder, like, if it would come to fruition.
Uh, uh, I wonder that all the time. Like, are they prescribing it or like are they calling it?
Yeah, like obviously influencers like talking about something that becomes cool, and I always wonder, is it cool because they said so, or was it actually like did they catch it on the way up? It's interesting. All that stuff super interesting to me. I don't really get it. I couldn't do any of it, but I love like just the psychology and the thought of it all happening.
It's very cool. And it's like it's not necessarily new work, but it's cool how it's being applied now. Like uh I think I mentioned Bauhaus earlier, but like, the blue square comes to mind. Color is like such a like an omnipresent thing that has like so much value to it that you can't describe so easily.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that I don't think a lot of people would ever think about, but then once you do, I mean, maybe some people, hopefully not a lot of people listening, but some people might think it's not interesting at all. But to me, it's one of the most interesting things, just how people like process trends and all that, like upcoming colors, movies, music, all that. So interesting to me.
Definitely, definitely.
Kind of a, I mean, I guess this would be a blanket question too, but I might as well kind of phase this talk out by asking what are you interested in most right now, and how is that kind of factoring into the work you're putting out currently, and what would you like to focus on in the future?
I feel like I'm like a uh like at our I guess I got like two streams of work. I have like my personal projects and stuff, and then my like professional work or whatever. Um, I think on like a personal tip, I just feel like seeing stuff through your kid is so fun and so new. It's sort of like it's cool to like go back to like regular motifs, like things that you see often, and just like re-envision them differently is really fun. I feel like it's so easy as like a visual person to like um skip over simple things and like common visuals and just like go into something new. But it's been fun to like revisualize and like, see how things could be different. Maybe there's sort of like low-hanging fruits, like things like flowers or like salamanders. But it's like pretty interesting to just like flip it on its head and like see what else it could look like and see what it looks like to someone who's never seen it before.
I constantly talk to a couple of friends of mine with young kids about how I think kids really make, and I mean maybe not, this is a bit facetious, but I do mean it for the most part. Kids make the most interesting art, the most interesting like design. Like if you give a kid a box of crayons and let them draw what's in their head, I think it's infinitely more creative than what like a seasoned adult would come up with. It might not be the better design for something, but it's a kid, right? It's not like a real design. I just look at drawings my friends' kids have made, and they're so cool. And I always wonder, like, at what point do you lose that? And you stop thinking like that, start thinking like something else. So I'm super jealous that you would get to like see a kid's drawings or thoughts or whatever, you like see all of that and then get like an inside look into what they're thinking and what their thought process might be.
Totally. Yeah, it's pretty mind-blowing.
What about work work wise?
Work wise, we're oh yeah, we're like when I go back in a couple days, we're gonna like start our new season. So uh spring 2028, which is exciting. We'll get like a new creative direction for the season, which I actually don't know what it is quite yet, but um we'll be doing some really cool stuff in the past year. We sublimated like a bunch of tops for our athletes for UTMB, like a big trail race in Europe in July, and we're going to do that again. That's like a big project. And then our seasonal work is like sort of something that I lead that I'm really excited to do. Um, yeah, I think like we'll definitely want to be looking at somewhere we haven't gone before, but I'm not sure what that is quite yet.
Are you gonna be at UTMB?
I would love to go. Yeah. Why? Yeah. I'll say yeah.
Yeah, my girlfriend is a runner as well, and she's been talking about it, and I maybe not really recently, but I never like hated running, like in any way, but I wasn't as into it and maybe as like supportive, I guess, as I have been in the past couple of years. I followed her. She ran London Marathon, and that was like kind of, I was like 95%. I was like, oh, I get it. Like, this is cool. I understand why all these people would like put this effort into getting here. Then the next year, I followed her to New York, and I like 300% got it. And ever since then, I've just been vicariously into it through her, and whatever race she pitches, I'm kind of like, yeah, we should go to, like, you should run. I'll follow you and take photos or whatever. And she's been talking a bit about UTMB, so I think she should. I mean, easier said than done, but I would love to follow her to that one.
It looks like a pretty cool zone when it's going off. It's like, I mean, like a pretty insane amount of people, and how many people are running in these races is like totally remarkable. But it looks really cool. We have like a ton of friends who've been before, and yeah, it looks sweet. That would be a once in a lifetime opportunity to like go check that out, especially while like running is in such a zone right now.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, that's a interesting question for me. Working kind of like you're in it, like more. I guess it's not the main sport, but it's a sport that you guys are all part of. What do you personally think about like the boom in all this? Is it a good thing for everything, or is it gonna like burst and then?
Oh yeah, I think it's awesome. I mean, it's like obviously it like brings in a lot of crap, like a lot of like people who want to start brands or like, the whole like run club founder rhetoric, whatever you want to call it now. But I think it does a really good thing for the sport. And I think when you talk about like these trends, like I feel like it's like the same thing that happened with like the Gorp stuff, like this tide comes in and like it brings in like all these new things that people haven't seen before or things that get people like totally excited and maybe like a lot of it leaves when it doesn't become in vogue anymore, but some of it stays, and I think like the health part, the like of running is going to stay. People are going to find that like it is actually like a good thing, and maybe some people will stick with it. And I think from like a creative standpoint, like there's a lot that the industry is like picking up on, which is like really exciting to see. Like right now, there's like more running brands doing what skate brands should be doing to me than skate brands are. Like I think that's cool. I think that's like totally the what should be going on with the way the world is now, with the way that so many things come together. It's like everything's picking off each other.
What do you mean by that necessarily. I think I know what you mean, but could you elaborate a little bit?
Yeah, like I think like I think like Satisfy's doing a better job of being a skate brand than any skate brand right now. I think that like Mental Athletic is like capturing a moment better than anybody
Yeah. Yeah, of course.
right now. And I think that's like so cool to see. And it's so cool to see it in like running, something that's like so normal and accessible and like not edgy.
Yeah, no, I agree. I thought maybe you meant more activation wise. I just see more like community and more events. And I know that is exactly what you're saying, part of the run club memification. But I think like getting people together to do stuff is less done in skating and more done in running. And that's where I think they could like learn from each other.
Yeah, I mean that too for sure. I think I mean maybe like a little more. That's not in my like world as much, but yeah, I could definitely see that happening.
What about the what is the BMO Vancouver Marathon? Are you doing that at all? Are you a marathon guy?
I haven't run a marathon in like in a while, but maybe. Who knows? Yeah, I don't have a bib right now. I would balancing training and work and the baby is a lot. So I'm trying to be selective of what I'm
Yeah,
dipping my toes into.
yeah, of course.
But there's like two trail races on the North Shore that happen every summer. I did one last year. I'm hoping to do the other this year. But that kind of takes a big focus going into like July and then I like to like go to the beach, you know. So maybe no, maybe no marathon.
No, of course. I kind of forgot that I was asking a recent father and employed person. Mostly, it's
Oh, me, I mean, no shade. I'm sure some people do it and respect. That's like so incredible.
yeah. I know. Just speaking of following Sarah around running, she does have a bib for that one.
Oh yeah, cool. Yeah, hit me up when you're here.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I will. I think it's the beginning of May.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, she was telling me this morning. So, actually, someone I'm sure you know quite well, but Meg is a friend of both of ours. So I have to tell her. I was supposed to tell her that we were coming at the beginning of May.
Meg.
Your coworker, I assume.
Oh, Meg Lloyd.
Yes.
Oh yeah, nice. Definitely. Yeah. Let's all hang when you're here.
Yeah, I would absolutely love to. I will. I'll remind you, obviously, but that being said, I feel I've kept you for probably longer than I said I would. I assume you have many responsibilities and a day at the aquarium ahead of you, which I'm very jealous of.
I'll send you a pic.
Yeah, yeah, please do. I mean, that's kind of how I get most of my like I live vicariously through people who are doing funner things than I am. So I'll pretend I did something as cool as go to the aquarium just by seeing this photo. But um before I actually hop off, do you want to let anyone listening know where they can find you or your work, anything you're a part of? The mic is yours. Please promote whatever you want.
Oh man, I don't have much to promote. I mean, you can find me on my Instagram, I guess. Mostly baby pics if you want to see my cute baby. Zack Shoom. Website, same deal. I don't have too much else going on, but hoping to do some like more fun projects as the year ramps up and summer hits, maybe have some more time.
I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but your website wouldn't load for me on my desktop or mobile.
Oh man, I'm glad you told me. Thank you.
That it could just be me, but everything. I mean, don't want to brag, but I've been all over the internet already today, and that was the only one that didn't work. But I also thought it might be strategic.
Sometimes I take it down.
I know some people don't have their sites active, and makes people want to see it more. And to be honest, I really want to see what's on there now that I wasn't able to.
I'll get her up just for you. To be honest, I didn't even know it was down. I was yeah, that's bad. It's a bad look.
Builds anticipation. Just I mean, if it's up before this comes out, I can send people to it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'll make that happen.
Cool, but I hate to leave you with computer tasks, but I guess there's one. Enjoy the aquarium. Thank you so much for all this. I learned a ton about you, which was kind of the goal of all this. So thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you. I appreciate your time. I really appreciate your curiosity. I feel honored. Thank you.
Well, enjoy everything. Hopefully, you guys see some good salamanders in the future.
Yeah, sounds good, dude. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you very much. Enjoy the day. Oh, happy New Year as well.
Happy New Year. Dude, I'm psyched we could do this. Bang out
Oh my god.
2025.
Yeah, no, I totally forgot to acknowledge that. That's a great end to the year. I never, as I was telling you, I didn't really expect anyone to be able to over the holidays, but today of all days is the least expected ones. This probably will go down in history for me. I don't know if I'll get anyone on this day again.
Oh, dude, I love that. Put me in the Austin Hall of Fame.
Oh yeah, yes, yeah, of course. I will. Thank you. Enjoy.
Nice. Yeah, Happy New Year. Take care.
Thanks.
Bye.
Peace.